This is an urgent Code Ninja security advisory. Listen up.
All right, let's get straight to it. That number, that's a 7.8 on the CVSS 3.1 scale. We're talking high severity, right out of the gate.
The designation is CVE 2025-6710. And let's be crystal clear about this. This is not some theoretical exercise. We have confirmation of active exploitation right now in the wild.
Look, we're putting this out as a coordinated vulnerability disclosure for one reason. The bad guys are already using this. The goal here is to arm you with actionable intel so you can protect your systems immediately. The time for waiting and watching is over. The window for passive defense has slammed shut. Now, check out this timeline. It shows you just how fast this whole thing escalated. November 11th, 2025, the vulnerability is disclosed and a proof of concept drops. Less than 24 hours later, bam! November 12th, we confirm exploitation in the wild. Fast forward to April 13th of next year, CISA adds it to the KEV catalog. That gives federal agencies a hard deadline of April 27th to get their systems patched. The gap between discovery and weaponization, it's basically zero.
So that brings us to Phase 1 of this briefing, the formal advisory for CVE 2025-6710.
Okay, before we dive into the technical deep end, we need to run a quick comms check. Setting up a secure intelligence channel is absolutely mission critical. It's how we make sure you get this and future advisories on time.
First things first, to make sure you get these advisories the second they drop, subscribe to this channel @CyberTech79 and make sure you enable all notifications. Think of it as a critical part of your real-time intelligence feed.
Next, hit that like button. This isn't just for show. It's your formal acknowledgement, your ACK, that you've received this intelligence packet. And finally, drop a comment with your patched status. Just type patched or vulnerable. This gives us and the entire community a real-time census to help gauge the operational blast radius of this threat.
Comms check complete. Let's move on to Phase 3, threat analysis and mitigation. This is the core protocol.
So what's the root cause here? It's CWE-59, a link following vulnerability. You know how you have shortcuts on your desktop? A symbolic link, or symlink, is kind of like that for the operating system. In this attack, the OS gets tricked into following a malicious shortcut set up by an attacker. This shortcut points to some protected file or folder. When a process with high privileges, like a system task, follows that bad shortcut, it ends up deleting or messing with the target, thinking it's just cleaning up a harmless file. The component that's vulnerable here is task-hostw.exe. That's a core host process for Windows tasks. And the attack vector? It's deceptively simple. A user with low privileges creates one of these malicious symbolic links. Then, they just trick this trusted system process into following that link to delete something. The trick is, the deletion gets executed with system-level privileges. It's a very clean, very effective way to escalate privileges.
Let me break down the proof of concept. It happens in 3 simple steps. First, the attacker targets a very specific, vulnerable scheduled task. Second, they create their malicious symlink in a directory that the user is allowed to write to. And step 3, they just trigger the task. The task-hostw.exe process kicks in, blindly follows that malicious link, and deletes the link's target, all with the highest privileges on the system. And here's the scary part. No user interaction is required at all.
So, what's the blast radius? It is severe. Gaining system privileges means total system compromise. Game over. An attacker can grab all your sensitive data, modify critical system files, install persistent malware like backdoors, or even create new administrator accounts. And from there, from that one compromised machine, they can start moving laterally across your entire network.
Now, for you analysts and incident responders out there, this attack maps cleanly to our standard threat frameworks. In MITRE ATT&C, it's T1547.009, shortcut modification. And under COPEC, it's a textbook CAPEC 132, a symlink attack. Having this context is vital for plugging this intel into your existing detection models.
All right, this brings us to the most important part, the mitigation protocol. Priority 1, patch immediately. Microsoft has already released security updates for Windows 11, versions 24H2 and 25H2. Get it done. If for some reason you can't patch right away, priority 2 is to harden your systems. Enforce the principle of least privilege, lock down those local user permissions. Priority 3 is aggressive monitoring. You need to tune your EDR solutions to hunt for suspicious symbolic link creation, especially any weird behavior from task-hostw.exe. And as a contingency, the security community has already published some great detection and mitigation scripts you can use.
And that brings us to our final phase, disclosure and sign-off.
We sometimes get asked why we do this kind of public disclosure. The answer is simple. As a defender, you have to operate under the assumption of active weaponization, always. We're releasing this information because the threat is live, right now, and you need to know how to defend your systems now, not after you read about it in some breach report weeks from now.
So I'll leave you with a direct, actionable question to take back to your teams. I want you to go and verify this yourself. Are your detection rules, your EDR queries, specifically tuned to spot anomalous symbolic link creation, especially when it's being initiated by the task host w.exe process? Go check.
That concludes this advisory. Stay secure.